On this episode of the Procedurally Generated Show, Ethan gets scared and Tony plays a game with Patrick Stewart. They talk about many of the week's biggest news stories and answer your questions. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to episode 20 of the... No, that's not right. I don't say the episode numbers in the show. So let's try that again.
Nope, stays in.
Okay. Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Procedurally Generated Show. I'm your host, Tony, and joining me this week, I've got Ethan.
You're just making this harder for me to edit now.
I'm gonna
because I'm gonna hear that first part. I'm like, oh, that's where I need to cut from or start from, and then I'm gonna be listening to him. Dang it, Tony! Then I have to move the slider over. And
yeah, you already said you're gonna leave it all in, so it's gonna be the greatest intro to the show ever.
And if I don't leave it in, people will be wondering what happened. What are they talking about?
So now, what are you gonna do?
Well, whoever's listening to this will have to. They'll know or they won't know.
There you go.
It's a guessing game.
There you go. So, how was the movie you went to?
That was an amazingly good movie.
We should just talk about the movie and not say the name of it.
That's what I was
no idea.
gonna try to do. No, I went and saw Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
I give that a really good score, which we don't have a scoring system anymore, so yeah, really good score.
Yeah, really good score on our non-existent scoring system.
Yes.
So yeah, my daughter's seen it. She said it's really good. I haven't had a chance to see it. I'll probably wait until it comes to whatever streaming service it happens to come on to.
And like with all Marvel movies, there's a stinger at the end of the credits.
Of course.
And for an animated feature such as this, it was totally worth it.
Okay. Spider-Ham coming to the MCU, confirmed?
Didn't I? I guess he already is, isn't he? If he's in this.
This isn't technically part of the MCU, though.
Marvel Comic Universe? Cinematic Universe?
The cinematic universe.
This is more of a... Did you
I
know
mean,
Nicolas
Spider-Man.
Cage was in this movie?
I did not.
Yeah, he voiced Spider Noir. The black and white guy.
Yeah.
Who, oddly enough, was given a Rubik's Cube and told to figure out colors or something.
He doesn't know colors.
Everything for him is black and white, and give him a Rubik's Cube and he's like, is this purple?
Yes, it's purple. It's all purple. So no, I really like the art style for it. It looks really good.
It was a great movie. Everything on there is just blasting you in the face with colors that are just matching up with everything in the movie.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm actually saying. So, yeah, words are good.
I'm very curious to see how they get all of these Spider-Men together.
Science.
It's always science. Like, do they do the same thing that everybody else does and just portals to different worlds open up, or what's going on? I'm very curious to know exactly what's going to happen.
Well, you better read up on your science before you see the movie then. Or after.
How much science do I need to read up on?
Multiverse theory.
Oh, okay. That's easy enough to read.
Yeah.
There's nothing, difficult or confusing about that at all.
Never. I mean, it's not like you got time displacement within the same confines of reality.
So, well, aside from that, what game have you been playing this week that you want to talk about?
Well, I got Resident Evil 2 remake in.
So did everybody else on my Twitter feed.
Everyone else in my Twitch feed apparently as well, and my YouTube feeds.
What are you
That
playing it on?
PS4.
Okay.
If I have a reason to ever play the PC version, which I could probably find a few reasons if I looked, but I'm not going to. Um, but that is a very, very different take on the game from the original PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Uh,
this is not. It's not like the fixed camera angles and all of that. They didn't just like up-res the original game.
no, this is like think RE4 with that over the shoulder sort of thing the whole time,
Okay.
and it looks amazing.
Like yeah, I've seen some screenshots of it, and the visual jump is quite impressive.
There are times when I kind of miss the old style.
Yeah. It looks like they have not just put a fresh coat of paint on those old character models and made them high resolution. It looks like they completely from the ground up redid everything.
Yeah, it's not the same game. It is more. It is it has changed the way events have happened in there, where they still happen the same, but like running into Ada is a different experience. I forget the guy that's in the prison that you talk to. He's just in a jail cell for his own safety.
Uh,
In the original, he's like, "No, I'm not getting out of here," and then stays in there the whole time. In this one, you meet him, and he's like, "Get me out of here! I need out," and he's losing his mind and stuff in there. So it's just little changes like that.
yeah,
Um, there there are no loading zones between doors.
that's nice.
That is a big, big change for a Resident Evil game.
Hmm.
Because you go through a door and then it closes behind you. You can hear the zombies bashing away on it if they're chasing you.
Yeah.
And they're going to get through it eventually. And some doors you just leave open because they stay open after that. Like security shutters in the main hallway and other things. Pretty sure I have zombies that could easily wander into my one and only safe area I have.
Yeah.
And there's that's a good reminder. There are no safe areas.
None.
You can walk into a room with where a typewriter is and your box for storing and inventory management, and an enemy can get into that room with you if they want,
Oh,
or if they're already in there or whatever.
so no place is safe anymore.
No place. Um, Zombies take a huge beating.
Hmm. That
I
seems like it's been more and more common with those games, though. Is if you don't get a headshot, they can last a long time.
And if you're getting nothing but headshots in this game, you're looking at, okay, here's 8 rounds for you, another 8 rounds for you. Are you dead yet? Yes, no, let's find out. Oh, they're getting
Hmm.
back up.
Does it scale the types of items you can find based on how well you're doing?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It might. I think the older ones did that, didn't they? Where they would, like, if you're doing too well, they're going to give you less ammo.
You're really asking the wrong person.
I want to say 3 did that.
Like
Maybe
the
2
only
did that as
the only
well.
mainline Resident Evil I've played any of is 4, and I never finished it. And I've played
You played
the first one on
Revelations or
DS.
something, right?
Yeah, I played all the way through Revelations on the DS. I haven't done Revelations 2.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't think I ever played Revelations, so I don't know how much uh, skill was involved in fighting zombies in that one. And I don't remember anything of playing 6. And I know 4 and 5 didn't have zombies.
No, not really.
I'm really torn. I really don't remember playing 6 at all. I know me and Stuart co-op the whole thing.
Yeah.
There was monsters, there was other monsters, and then there were zombies. I don't remember the zombie. The zombies probably didn't take that much of a beating. But in this one, they're like super resilient. It's annoying.
And so have you finished the game?
Oh, no, no, no. Not
Oh,
at all. I ran into, I think it's Mr. X. He's the tyrant in the trench coat and the hat. He wears a hat now. That would chase you for a few rooms or something in the original. In this one,
yeah.
he as soon as you encounter him for the first time, he is stalking you and he will move room to room, chasing after you at a brisk walk.
Hmm.
And you just kind of have to get 1 or 2 rooms ahead of him. You just stop running, don't shoot, hope it's safe, and kind of like try to hide somewhere, like get out of sight or something, or go into or quietly enter another room and hope that he doesn't enter the room you're in. And he will look around. If he doesn't see you, he'll just wander off into another room or something.
Wow.
In fact, I got extremely lucky, and he lost me, and then I was able to complete a certain objective, and then I ran into him again, and well, I had to run and run and run with him and like 5 zombies behind him. And I know I'm
Yeah.
not done encountering him, so that's going to be great as well.
He's gonna keep coming back. So,
He is not a fun experience at all. He adds a whole level of stress and thinking that I was not prepared for on that.
mm,
Um, but there's a trophy and or achievement or whatever you want to call it for knocking his hat off. So the first thing I did on the encounter was like, all right, hat, bam, gone.
well, at least you got that.
Yeah, and he looked closer to how he's supposed to, and he doesn't pick the hat back up and put it on, which made me a little sad. That could have been like my ticket to distracting him, knock the hat off and leave. But yeah, this game it is doing horror really well for me at the moment. I never did play Resident Evil 7. I played the demo until they added the mold monster on there.
Mm,
And even then I still didn't really play the demo after that because I wanted to get the 100% ending on the demo for doing the puzzle, which requires you doing certain things. And one of them is not getting infected. Well, you can get infected, but I'd rather get the not infected ending. So that was really hard to do. So I didn't even bother with the full game when that was out. So yeah, 2 looks really good, and it's really hard to play if you're scared of zombies and stuff.
okay. Interesting.
Yep. Um, there is one other thing I'm going to throw in here, and this is a different game. Anthem, EA, BioWare, they had their not public beta, but the pre-order beta. Yeah, pre-order beta test was happening this week, or I guess last weekend as of this recording,
Yeah, my brother sent me a message about that one.
and then it's happening again this coming weekend, but this one is public beta. Anyway, a friend of mine, he got two friend codes, and so he sent me one to try it. And there are so many problems with that. It is practically unplayable.
Have you run into any of the crashing issues?
I ran into all the crashing.
Okay. Because that's what I saw that mostly on Twitter this week was people, they try to log into the game and it would crash, or they'd be doing something in the menu and it would crash, stuff like that.
So my experience with this was I got it downloaded, started it
Hmm.
up, it says servers aren't there, then it loads me into the server. That's my first hint that something's wrong. Um, my it gives me an objective. I go to where the objective is, and I'm supposed to talk to someone. There's I can't talk to anyone. So quit out, reload the game. Get back to where the objective is. The guy I'm supposed to talk to now has a prompt. Hit the prompt. He never talks to me. Friend of mine is finally on, and he's like, "Hey, let's play this game." And I'm like, "All right, well, this is what I ran into." So I tried a third time. He talks to me. I go and get in the they're called javelins. Yeah, javelins for the suit, the mech suit or whatever you have. Get inside that and spend a good 5 minutes trying to figure out how to use the mission select screen. It is horribly done. And finally figured out how to launch the mission. Told it to launch. Loads up to like 95, 98% or something and just sits there.
Hmm.
Doesn't finish loading.
Yeah.
Ended up quitting out 2 or 3 times. So did my friend that gave me access to the whatever. And eventually it lets you join a session or something that you had already been in somehow. The one that you were supposed to be in. I don't know. So I got to play it, but not with my friend. He would send me an invite, and then every time we did this, it just wouldn't let us join each other.
Hmm.
There was a private setting on there, so you can just play it by yourself or just with your friends only. Also through invite was what we tried. It does not do private games.
Wow, that's so weird.
It says you can do private, so I set it to private and tried to load a game myself, just trying to get something to work. It loads in 2 other people with me. Neither one are my friend.
Sounds like the game definitely has a bunch of issues still to work out.
Yes.
Yeah, because I talked to my brother about the game earlier today, and he said he didn't have any problems with crashing, but he couldn't get into a game. He tried like a couple dozen times, he said, and maybe got into 2 matches. So um, it definitely sounds like in the game. What the game's a month away from being released, and they've got all these bugs that still need to be fixed.
Yeah, I was told that this is a 6 week old build as well.
Really,
And from the way it's playing, it seems more like a 6 month old build, if not more.
that's crazy.
The first, the part where you're walking around the town and everything, that's all done in first person.
Hmm.
So this is like reverse Destiny, where you're first person in the social area and third person in the gameplay.
Yeah.
And the first person on there looks really, really bad. Like it just feels like there's too much motion blur and the frame rate isn't constant with it or something. It was really weird. And then whenever you're in the third person, everything looks good. It plays well, but then you have the options to crash the game by trying to finish a mission or failing a mission.
Yeah, that's not really what people want to do when they play a game.
No, and the the multiplayer to team up with your friends on there, it's invite only. So I would have to physically invite friends. They like on Destiny, if a friend wants to join me, they can drop in anytime they want.
Yeah.
I don't tell them not to. Like I've told it where random people that are not my friends can't join me unless I
Mhm.
want them to. But
And that's the way it should be done. You should be able to say who you want to play. And so if you want a friend to just be like, okay, I want to play with you for a little bit, just drop right in and there you go.
yeah, I mean, if you're gonna have the open world experience, make that an option on there. That's what people kind of are used to these days now, thanks to
Hmm.
Destiny and I guess Warframe and well, not really Warframe. That's still invite only, isn't it?
Uh,
Kind of.
sort of. I think you can set it to where friends can just join you. Um, but I think for the most part, it's got to be invite.
So yeah, Anthem. Yeah, that demo. uh, hopefully they have it fixed by this weekend. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. But if they do have it, and maybe it'll be fun to play. I don't know. What I played on there wasn't that great, and you you can try your best to make your javelin look like Iron Man.
The game definitely hasn't given the best first impression.
Oh no, it's given quite the negative impression from the start.
Wow.
So that is all from me. What about you, Tony? You
Oh,
and your
so
friend Patrick Stewart have been playing games, I hear.
yes, we're really good friends. He's actually just been narrating what I've been doing as I play a game.
He stands over your shoulder and narrates.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
It might be awesome for like 5 minutes, and then it's just kind of creepy and annoying.
Excuse me, Patrick. Could you just go away for a while, please?
And he wouldn't stop because he knows it's funny.
No, I've been playing a game. We got this in for review. Both you and I. I guess you have the game, but you haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Well,
Um,
yeah, there were zombies to take care of.
yeah, I mean, when the zombies invade, you've got to take care of that, or other big problems can start occurring. I've been playing this game called My Memory of Us. It is a side-scrolling adventure game in the vein of things. I say this only because it's the best sort of comparison as far as the gameplay. Monkey Island, those old school adventure games like that. It's sort of like that.
Well, I really did like Monkey Island, so you have my attention.
Um, don't think it's funny because it's not funny. There's no humor in the game at all. It's a very serious um, story that's going on. It's because it basically tells the story of the Holocaust,
Oh,
during World War II.
you're
Uh,
making me like this game less and less now.
only it does it with robots as the invaders and just color in general as the people who are being oppressed. So, like, the game's all in black and white, with the exception of the color red.
Hmm.
And the color red does a couple of different things. One, it signifies things that you can interact with in the environments. So, like early on in the game, when the game first starts, there are a couple very simple puzzles that you need to do. You walk into a bookstore, and the guy behind the counter tells you that the books are upstairs on the second floor,
Hmm.
and the only way to get up there is to you see a staircase, or not a staircase, sorry, but a ladder coming from the ceiling, but it only comes down part way, and then you have to go somewhere else in that room, find the rest of the ladder, drag it over there, and the two ends of the ladders are both red, and once they connect, the ladder is complete and you can climb up it.
Hmm.
And then you'll go up to the second floor. You'll walk around up there for a little bit. You'll find the book. There'll be these like thought bubbles. There's no actual
Dialogue.
text or dialogue in the game at all. It's all done through sound effects and story bubbles over the characters' heads. And so you can see this bubble of a particular book that the character is looking for, and you have to find that book on the shelves of the bookstore and then take it back downstairs. And at that point, you find out that the person who owns the bookstore is Patrick Stewart, and he's the narrator. He's the narrator of the story.
Sorry, just I mean, you're calling him Patrick Stewart, and we know
Yeah,
he's got a
it's
name in the game of a
yeah,
different.
it's not Patrick Stewart, but it's the character that's voiced by Patrick Stewart.
It's like
Uh,
loading up a certain Dreamcast game that I'm not going to say for safety reasons on this show, and you hear Leonard Nimoy's voice, but he says he's a this. He says this is his name, not Leonard Nimoy, and it's like okay,
yeah. And so what you find out is that the book that you get is sort of the autobiography of this of Patrick Stewart's character, and he is telling you the story of what happened to him as a child during this war where robots invade.
it's always robots invading.
Um, and there are two different then at that point two different colors that the characters can be. They'll either be the black and white or they will have red. Like one of there's two main characters in the game. There's the little boy and a little girl.
Hmm.
And at some point the girl actually gets taken away, and the next time the boy sees her, she's got a red coat on. And you find out that the anybody that has these red colors, they are symbolic of, like, like the Jews during World War
Yeah, they
II, and
had to
so they
have
get
that.
separated.
They had to wear that little star thing on their
Yeah,
shirts or something.
yeah. And so far in the game, I'm probably 2.5, 3 hours into the game. I just recently hit the point where she gets taken away and comes back with the red coat. And at that point, you then see that the characters that are wearing red are getting discriminated against. They get separated from everybody else, and they're basically just treated as second-class citizens. And this little boy and this little girl, they're friends, and they have to navigate their way through the levels, hiding from people that are robots that would try to separate them, or one of these characters I think may end up dying at some point, but I don't know that for sure. And so you're using stealth to move around different parts of the environments. The two different characters, the boy and the girl, have two different abilities. The boy, um, he can sneak around and hide in the shadows and do things like that. And the girl is basically just she's really fast. She can run really fast. And so you'll
I thought you were going to say something else about her.
no. And so you can only control one character at a time. And so you'll go back and forth between these two characters doing different things. Um, at one point, the girl gets a slingshot that she can use to interact with elements in the environment that they can't reach. The boy gets a little mirror that he carries around, and he can use that to shine lights. Like you'll see a light hanging from the ceiling, and another character, one of the enemies, walking around, and you need to blind him by shining the light off of the mirror into his eyes so that the girl can sneak by him,
Hmm.
and doing things like that. And so if you want to move both of the characters at the same time, you actually walk up to each other, push a button, and they'll hold hands, and whoever is the character that you're controlling, you get to use their abilities while you're holding hands and guiding the other character around the levels.
That's handy.
And
Pun is not intended on that.
and then interspersed in between all of the different gameplay bits, you'll hear Patrick Stewart telling you the story of what's happening during that particular part of the game. So it's definitely got a very serious tone to it. There's not there's not a lot of lighthearted elements to the game, but I'm enjoying it, and the gameplay itself is fairly bare bones. There's not a ton of stuff to it. I've never been stumped by any of the puzzles or anything like that. It's a good story that you're being pulled through as you play the game. So I'm really interested in you getting a chance to play this and seeing what you think about it. Because I know you do like those, Monkey Island, those old LucasArts adventure games, and so it feels a little bit like that, just not with the convoluted puzzle elements. It's just really light puzzle gameplay that you're going through.
Okay. I will probably give this a shot when I am. You know what? I'm going to do it tomorrow.
Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting a chance to talk to you about the game and see what you think of it.
Cool.
So, but that is what I have been playing. So let's take a quick break here. We'll come back and we'll talk about the news. So, Ethan,
Hmm.
you remember a couple E3s ago, Nintendo made some waves with one simple image.
Reggie wearing a Star Fox pin.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh.
No, it was the number 4 that came after the words Metroid Prime.
I'm going to say you're crazy in making that up, and that was just a dream that everyone had.
It was not a dream. Nintendo actually did announce Metroid Prime 4 back at E3 2017.
Silly Tony,
Uh,
there's no 2017.
there is. It happened. And
Everyone
since
was on
then,
vacation that year. That it didn't happen.
since then, we haven't heard a lot about the development of Metroid Prime 4. A lot of people kind of thought that maybe the game would be out this year, that Nintendo would show off, a gameplay trailer early in 2019, maybe highlight the game a lot at E3 this year, and then at holiday, Metroid Prime 4 would be on store shelves.
I think we were hoping for all that back at 2018 E3 as well.
Yeah, that's probably true. Um, but on Friday of this week, Nintendo did make an announcement about Metroid Prime 4, and it was not good news.
Or was it good news?
Uh, Good point. Depending on your position, this could be good news or bad news. But basically, they said that Metroid Prime 4, the development up to this point, was not living up to their standards. They were having trouble getting the game to a level that they wanted it to be at, and they completely scrapped development of the game, and they're starting from scratch.
Sounds like a very Nintendo thing to do.
It's unusual in the games industry for people to just say, you know what, the game's not working out, we're just going to completely redo it. Um,
Well, I mean, it
Nintendo, though,
happens, but we usually don't hear about it.
we usually don't hear about it.
And when it
That's
does
true.
happen, and we do hear about it, it's altered where the thing that is being made is no longer the same exact thing. It is now like a different game, like how we got Star Fox on GameCube.
Yeah. So, who was it that made the announcement? Shinya Takahashi, who was the head of entertainment planning and development at Nintendo, was like, "Yeah, you know what? It's just not working. The development cycle to this point has just it's not up to our standards. They've decided to re-examine the development structure, and they have asked the producer of the game to work with a studio that Metroid fans are very familiar with. That would be Retro Studios.
I question
So
why Retro Studios wasn't involved from the start.
that's a very good point. It would have made sense. You would think that it's been a while since Retro has done a Metroid game. They've done the last couple of Donkey Kong games. It seems like Retro knows Metroid Prime, even if a lot of the higher ups at Retro who were there during the original development of the Prime trilogy are not there anymore. They went off and formed Armature Studios. Um, you've got a lot of different people at Retro that would be working on this game, but it would make sense to work with the developers that know the franchise and made a set of games that people really liked, right?
Yeah, it's like it would be like having Microsoft have not Bungie make Halo, which actually became a thing though.
Mm,
But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
bad example, but still,
So,
it's an example, I guess.
no, there are some rumors out there as to what exactly happened with Metroid Prime 4, and that apparently a number of different studios were working on the game, and because of that, some of the studios were doing okay, some were not. Nintendo felt that it was best to just get rid of that, bring the entire development of the game under one roof, and Retro is the developer that they're going to go with for Metroid Prime 4. So, what this means, though, is that instead of the possibility of Metroid Prime 4 coming out this year, which seemed, a 2 year development cycle would have been pretty uh,
Mm,
normal for a game
normal,
like this.
slightly rushed, a little bit, I
Maybe a little
guess.
bit, um, but now we're probably 2 or 3 years away from Metroid Prime 4 being released at this point because of this. Now, when the news broke on the internet, I was actually kind of surprised by the response from everybody. I didn't see a lot of negativity. I didn't see much negativity at all. I saw people being like, you know what? Good. If the game is not what Nintendo wants it to be, it's better to delay it, get it the way you want it to be, and then bring it out rather than putting out a product that you feel is subpar.
And,
Um,
and
and
good,
be,
good on them for making that choice.
and because Nintendo has being upfront about this, people are much more forgiving than if they didn't say anything and just behind the scenes started, the development of the game over and never told anybody. But it seems like fans of the series are much more interested in getting a good Metroid game than getting a Metroid game and it not being, of a higher quality. So, that old quote of Miyamoto's that a delayed game, or I don't remember exactly how it goes. Um, I'd have to look it up. Man, I should have looked. I should
I'm
have
trying
looked
to
that quote up before.
I'm trying to remember it myself, and I would have to look it up as well.
A delayed game is eventually good. Let me see here. Is
A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game,
forever is bad forever.
yeah, or a bad game is forever. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
A delayed game is eventually good. A bad game is bad forever. So, I, for one, am perfectly okay with this. If I have to wait a little bit longer to get a Metroid game, fine. What a lot of people are speculating now, though, is that, like with Breath of the Wild, how the development of that took longer than Nintendo thought, and they delayed it a couple of times. In between the announcement and that game coming out, we got Wind Waker HD. Um, a lot of people are saying that bodes well for something like Prime Trilogy to come to the Switch, uh, as a sort of, you know what, we're sorry that the game is taking so long. Have this other Metroid game that you really like that's been remade for a new system.
It's kind of your filler, the
Yeah.
your appetizer.
And I could see that game coming out this year. I don't think it would be uh, too much of a stretch to say that it would probably be fairly easy for them to get that game over to the Switch in some form. So we could see that late this year or early next year, possibly.
Maybe.
And I'd be okay with that. I have not. It's been a long time since I played through any of those games, so um, I'd be willing to spend a little bit more time with Metroid Prime on the Switch.
Yeah, the when the trilogy was, what was that on Wii
It was
U?
originally on Wii.
The trilogy was on Wii or Wii U?
Yeah, Metroid Prime Trilogy came out on Wii, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's right. GameCube, and then Wii,
And then 3 was a Wii game,
and
and
then
then they brought
Trilogy. Yeah,
Trilogy out.
yeah. The aiming on there, the ability to strafe around was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And this one
Yeah.
going with the full-on proper control scheme would be way better in my opinion.
They'd have to rework Prime 3 because that was only ever a motion control game.
I'm looking at the Switch controller. I'm like, maybe make
So
use of that HD rumble, I guess.
I think it would take a little bit of work to get the game on Switch because Prime 3 was only ever a motion control game from what I remember. I don't think it had a regular control scheme on Wii U when it was released on there.
No, I think it was just the same game.
I think it
Uh,
was. I think they just ported the Wii version of the game over to the Wii U. So,
so yeah,
uh,
Switch version, yay!
Metroid Prime 4 has been delayed, but I'm okay with that. So,
We all are.
would you be interested in watching an unusual esport?
I do not currently watch esports unless speedrunning counts as an esport.
I don't know that that counts as an esport.
It should. It's great.
Well, what if I told you that Giant Software is getting into the esports game?
Giant soft. What are they known for?
Farming Simulator.
Farming simulator.
Yes. Farming Simulator. Giant Software announced this week that they are starting a Farming Simulator League. And it's exactly what it sounds like.
It sounds amazing.
People playing Farming Simulator for money. I think this sounds amazing.
It just being told that it just kind of leaves me dumbfounded for a second every time I see this. But but after that one initial second, it's like there's so much potential for fun.
There is. We don't really know a lot about it right now. The only thing they've talked about is competitive hay bale stacking.
Okay.
So, no, apparently the developers over the last few years have actually done a number of esports style events, but they've generally been at places that are specifically targeted to agricultural markets. So, fairs and things like that.
Hmm.
But they always drew a crowd. And so they think maybe there's some potential there for a wider audience of Farming Simulator esports fans. And so the developers of the game this week have announced that they are putting up £250,000. It's about $280,000 in prize money for a farming simulator league that will consist of 10 tournaments across Europe. And it'll be at places like Gamescom, Paris Games Week, and then a grand finale in 2020 at FarmCon,
FarmCon.
which is exactly what it sounds like.
FarmCon.
That would be a farming convention.
FarmCom. Huh. You lost me at
So,
FarmCom.
sorry, man. FarmCon is a thing. It's a giant software thing that is held every year. So it's specifically for like farming simulator.
They better have Harvest Moon there, or it's no winning situation.
Man, Stardew Valley esports coming soon.
Oh man.
So yeah, I am totally gonna watch this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we'll have a chance to see it here in the states anytime soon, but
No, we'll have to watch online, but I am totally gonna watch the Farming Simulator Esports League.
yeah.
I don't care about Overwatch. You can shoot people in the face all you want. I'm not gonna watch it, but you got dudes stacking hay bales and uh, plowing fields as fast as they can. I am all for that.
They're gonna have to set up like a farming simulator multiplayer game one of these days.
Dude, have you seen the types of setups that people who play Farming Simulator hardcore have?
I have not,
You
but just
should go
seeing the
watch some YouTube videos of people's setups. It is insane.
I just see the crazy stuff people do in like Stardew Valley and Harvest Moon, and it's like that's nuts. So I can only imagine how much insanity goes into the thought process on these setups in a game with a little more freedom than a grid-based game.
We're talking, full on. You got the whole cockpit of the tractor that you are encased in. You got a joystick that you're moving the thing around. There's all kinds of buttons all over it. It is insane. I'll have to find a couple YouTube videos and show you setups for some of these people because it is crazy. But
Nice.
I guess if you're that into Farming Simulator, you're gonna want the most authentic experience.
I guess it's no different than those people that play like Forza or whatever with that full setup that costs like $400.
Yeah, what's that online racing league? I can't remember. But there is like a huge professional online racing league, and those guys go crazy with their car setups for that game. Uh,
I think the
so
craziest I've ever gotten is Steel Battalion, and that I mean the only way to play that's with that 40 button
yeah,
controller.
iRacing is what I'm thinking of.
iRacing.
But yeah, just imagine Steel Battalion only instead of in giant war machines, you just got all of those same assortment of buttons for a backhoe.
That's crazy.
So yeah, Farming Simulator esports coming later this year with some big prize money involved. And then our last news story of the week. You've been playing a lot of Resident Evil.
Yeah, I have.
Um would you be interested in watching a Resident Evil TV show?
Yes, because the horror isn't something I'm having to survive. I get to watch other people
Yeah.
survive it.
Um, I am not going to lie. I have said this before. I'm a fan of the movie series. I own all of the movies. I enjoy them, even if they would be what would be called a guilty pleasure because nobody else likes them. I like the Resident Evil series. Don't like the games, like the movies. I will totally watch this. It's going to be a Netflix original series. Um,
Okay.
being produced and distributed by Constantine Films, which is a German studio.
I've heard of them. I can't think of what they did, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, I can't think of anything they've done right off the top of my head, but I know that name. This is still very early in production. This may never see the light of day, but it's being worked on right now. They're currently looking for a showrunner and expand on the Resident Evil universe as we know it. Now, whether that will be, games, whether it will tie into the movies in any way, nobody knows. It could be something
Oh,
completely different.
these guys are
So,
working on a Monster Hunter.
really,
Yes.
the Mila Jovovich film?
Let me double check. Paul W.S. Anderson. Yep.
Okay.
Looks like they also did Fantastic
So,
Four from
were
2015.
Were they involved with the Resident Evil movies in any way?
I see Resident Evil: The Final Chapter. Let's see what else is here.
Okay.
Retribution, Afterlife, Extinction, the other Fantastic Four, Apocalypse, and then original Resident Evil 2002.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
there you
they also
go.
did Rise of the Silver Surfer. Ugh.
So, and then the only other details we know about it are what you would expect. They're going to keep the basic premise of the game. The T virus will be involved in some way. Umbrella Corporation will be, trying to take over the world. And then, of course, they say they'll toss in a whole bunch of Easter eggs for the fans of the series. So, but it looks like Netflix is working on a Resident Evil TV show.
The next logical step is to make a Dead Rising TV show.
Do we need Dead Rising and Resident Evil? Can they just combine them into one universe?
No, because then we wouldn't be able to have the joke place, the joke restaurant called Jill's Sandwiches.
Uh,
I mean, we could, but I mean, it'd be like it wouldn't be the same.
so, would you be interested in this if it's a continuation of like the film franchise? Would you want this to be more
I want them to just
closely
ignore.
related to the video games?
I want them to be closer to the games and ignore everything to do with the films.
So, sort of like the animated Resident Evil movies.
I don't even want them to go that far. I want them to go. I want them to pick up Resident Evil Outbreak files 1 and 2 and then say, what do these people do to survive? What are others doing?
Yeah.
And then that's what we get.
So, uh, the Redfields will be the main characters. No, I don't know if that's true.
Uh, they can. They could.
What if like Ada Wong was the main character of the movie or the TV?
Maybe.
Trying to think, would it be better for them to take characters from the video games and use them as the main characters, or have them just sort of show up every once in a while and it be someone completely different?
I think it would be better just to do the survivor, the non video game survivors.
Do
Not
you do a sort of Walking Dead ensemble style cast?
no, like ignore actual characters. Have your own original characters in Raccoon City, and this is what's happening, and they're surviving.
Okay.
And they, I mean, like maybe they one of them goes to the police station, sees that it's boarded up, and like, well, I guess I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Or maybe they see the helicopter that crashes into, and they're like, nope, too much, and leave.
I mean, I guess there's a lot of different ideas they could explore with this.
Ooh, they
You
can
know,
make it all about Barry from the first game.
okay. Just have it be sort of a campy TV show full of one-liners and
And then it goes into his own game that was on the Game Boy Color.
so Netflix is trying to get into that video game TV show space. It seems like they got Castlevania. There's um Resident Evil now. What else? There's something else I've seen that they've been working on.
Uh, Something that was announced recently, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Devil May Cry
Yes, that's what it was. Devil May Cry. Apparently, Capcom likes making TV shows.
and Konami.
Konami's not going to do anything else with Castlevania.
Or Metal Gear.
That's what we need, a Metal Gear TV show.
No, there's actually the movie being worked on still.
Oh, okay.
I I do kind of look forward to that.
Yeah. I mean, I would love a Metal Gear TV show or something like that. It may be easier to follow. I don't know.
Maybe if they did like the Castlevania thing, 4 episodes that are like 2.5 hours long.
You know what franchise, convoluted, weird franchise I'm surprised hasn't gotten a TV show is Kingdom Hearts.
Because they don't know where to fit it in the series.
Like Disney would capitalize on that in a heartbeat, I think, if they could.
Well, Disney and then Square Enix and the two working together for a TV series. I don't know. There's probably too much copyright and stuff,
That
legal
may be
work.
true. So, but there you go. That'll be it for the news. So let's move on to listener feedback. And our first one this week comes from Lorenzo via Facebook, who wants to know our thoughts on Fire Emblem's initial release date of January 2019 being pushed to possibly December 2019, and then our thoughts on Kingdom Hearts. Do we think it'll be good? Um, I hadn't actually heard any release date sort of speculation for Fire Emblem, so I mean, I went and looked online before the show to see what was going on with it, and I saw a couple videos about it possibly being delayed again, but it can't be delayed because it hasn't been given a release date yet. So,
It'll when they feel when Nintendo feels it's good
um,
to where when it's at a state they can talk
yeah.
about the release date, they'll say it.
Just like with Metroid, Fire Emblem would be one of those franchises for me that I am fine if a game takes a little bit longer if it's going to make it better. So if I have to wait to the end of this year instead of the beginning of the year to get Fire Emblem because they have said it was going to come out in 2019, I'm fine with that. I don't care. Fire Emblem is one of my top three favorite franchises of all time. So I would rather wait a little while for the game to be good than rushed and have problems.
Well said.
So I've got plenty of other Fire Emblem stuff I can be playing until then. I haven't finished Heroes on mobile, so there are three completely separate stories on that to go through.
You never
Um,
finish. You just do a little better each time.
that may be the case, but I think I'm halfway through book two. I've not gotten anywhere close to finishing um, that mobile game. And then Fire Emblem Warriors, I can go back and replay through that. I've got all the DS games. I'm set for Fire Emblem for a little while. Uh, I'm fine with it taking a little bit longer. And then, what are our thoughts on Kingdom Hearts? Do we think it'll be good? I don't know.
It probably will be. I mean, they took forever to make it, and
It has taken a long time for that game to come out.
it's going to have that Disney and Square Enix stamp of approval.
I really need to pick up the 1.5 and 2.5 games on PlayStation and play through those.
Apparently, this one takes place right after Birth by Sleep or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so way to put those other games right into the story uh,
Uh,
continuity of where you need to start playing from.
yeah. Like I am way behind on the Kingdom Hearts story. So I've played one, I've played two, I played the 3DS game and played about 5 minutes of any of the mobile games. Not very much. I think there was one on DS as well,
Hmm.
but didn't really play that one. So
I have Chain of Memories somewhere around here for the GBA.
I I'm fairly certain the game will be good, but I'm still not convinced it's going to come out like it's supposed to come out what in February, I think. So
It's like really soon.
yeah, so they still have time to delay it. I'm holding out that there'll be another delay. No, that's not going to happen though. So, but yeah, I think it'll be good. Somebody will tell me whether or not it's good, and I'll just go with their opinion because I don't know.
Hmm.
And then Nick via Facebook wants to know: do we think a Funko Pop cross Amiibo line of figures would work?
No.
You don't think?
Have you looked at a Funko Pop?
Oh, I have a few.
Yeah, they're like they have no soul in their
They're
eyes,
creepy.
and they're just disfigured looking creatures.
I've only ever bought two. I have like seven, but I've only ever bought two. I got the rest of them as Christmas presents from my parents one year.
Yeah,
They're all
I'm gonna do
they're
the
all
same
Star
thing.
Wars, with the exception of two Assassin's Creed pop figures that I have.
It's like the ones I've
So
bought were not for me; they were gifts, and the ones I have I didn't buy.
yeah, any of the ones that I have are in a box right now. They're not out. They're not displayed. They're sitting in a dark box, contemplating their existence. Um, my daughter really likes them. I think they would work. I think both pop figures and amiibo are popular enough that if they ever got insane and crossed those two, and you actually had pop figures that you could put on your game on your Switch, and they would work as amiibo, I think they would sell like crazy. I wouldn't want them,
No,
um, but I think they would probably sell well. So there you go. Do you have any other thoughts on the pop figure
no,
thing?
just keep them away from me.
Keep them away from you. I know what I'm getting you for Christmas this year.
Uh,
Farming Simulator pop figure.
d- hmm. I don't know if I should even be mad about that.
So, there you go. That will be the show for this week. So, thank you, Ethan, for being on the show.
Don't send me a pop figure.
If you want to reach out to us, we have tons of new ways to do so. You can email us at podcast@procgent.com. That's PROCGENT.com. You can send us a voicemail if you want by clicking on the voicemail link on the right side of the website. You can send us voicemails up to 90 seconds in length, and we'll play those on future episodes of the show and respond to the questions that you have. If you like what we do here, you can now support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pgint. Patreon supporters will get a video version of the podcast a day early. These will normally go out on Tuesdays. Patreon supporters will get them on Monday. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/progenint. Check out our YouTube channel that we've got and see the content we've got going on up there. And then we still do have the Facebook group where you can interact with us on a daily basis as well.